So we're going to try this again. We had a little technical difficulty. So this is my first solo trip doing a podcast with Sound the Sirens without Thomas. So we're going to see how this goes. We'll see if I pull off the technology side of this or not. So I asked Caden Matson. He is from Humboldt here in town. Is going to be a preferred walk-on at Iowa State. Gets to leave here Sunday to head out to Ames and start the college football journey. So we just want to sit down and talk football a little bit. You just got back from vacation. Yep. You said possibly your first vacation in a long time. I know you're going to have to repeat yourself because we're going to sound like we're nuts, but we didn't. Just like the last 30 seconds never happened. So you got a first vacation in a long time. Yeah. Went where? How did it go?
So well, I'll start from the beginning. So I played baseball this summer. My last baseball, obviously my career probably, and then so they moved up all of baseball a week or two because of the dead week. Which is at the end of July, and they'd been playing the state tournament in the July, and people didn't like that obviously because those baseball kids didn't get a break between baseball and football. So they moved it up. And then so I've been off since July probably 14th. I don't know if that's the actual date, but so I've been off for the last month, which is it's the more break than I ever had before. So I've got this last month to just go on vacation and stuff with my family, obviously lift and stuff. I've been lifting with the high school team still for the most part. And then once they started camp, I've been on my own a little bit, but we've been able to go. Actually, I've gone on 2-3 vacations kind of. So I had the opportunity to play in the Shrine Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that.
Yep. That was the week of, oh gosh, I think I left
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I think I left the 17th and the game was on the 23rd July.
And your team won. You were on Aaron Graves' team.
Yeah, I was on Aaron Graves' team. Yeah. Right. Luckily, I was very glad to have played on Aaron Graves' team.
You didn't want to be on the opposite side of the ball.
Well, I did have to practice against them all week, and that was enough of it. Yeah, that was enough. It was super fun. I had a great week. Those guys are awesome. I would do it all again if I could. It was an incredible experience. just seeing, being with all the guys that have the equal, the same mindset of me, kind of, and just having all the guys that want have the same goals in life. They're almost all of them are going to play college football somewhere, whether it's D1 or there's a couple guys going D3. And then everybody, it's just crazy to see how much 2 inches and 50 pounds.
Oh, sure. Everything. Right. Yeah.
Because these guys, there were guys there that, were going D3 that if they had 2 inches on them easily, it's just crazy how much just physical, I don't want to say just, genes, I guess, but just physical. It changes everything because these guys have there's not much difference between, and that's why that's a big thing I learned is that there's not a lot of difference between, the really high D1 guys, obviously, but these guys that are walking on the D1 like I am and these D3, whoever NAI guys, there's not a lot of difference between them.
Well, I've always said if LeBron James was 6'4",
oh, exactly. He wouldn't be LeBron James.
He'd be working Casey's or playing in Europe. James. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's, when you're a 6'7" offensive lineman versus a 6'2". That's the gene side of it. So
absolutely.
A big deal. Yeah.
So that's something cool that I guess I saw. And then, obviously working with those Shrine Bowl kids. And if anybody doesn't know it, their Shrine Bowl is basically, so the Shriners is a hospital that helps kids with amputees. So legs, arms, toes, whatever else. They just help. These families go to these Shriners and they go to these hospitals and get it completely for free because those things, amputees are extremely expensive.
Sure.
Extremely expensive. So it was just super cool. And we got to meet a lot of the amputee kids and the families and stuff and hear their stories. So that was all super cool. And it was just a super neat experience to have. And like I said, I'd do it all over again.
So is there a Shriners Hospital in Waterloo or did you have to go to Cedar Rapids?
No, those kids came here. It was in, I think the nearest one's in Minneapolis, actually.
Oh, gotcha.
They used to bring, a long time ago, they used to bring kids up to Minneapolis, but they don't do that anymore. So we had I think it was Friday, the day before the game, we had probably, 20 kids probably coming to you and I or the Dome. So to come and just run around and play with us. We had Nerf footballs and whatever else. We just made up games. But
did you go on? When did you go there? How long were you there?
Sunday. I left. So I went there on Sunday, July 17th, and we had practice that day. So I checked in. It was checking was from 1 to 2, and we were on the field in the Dome practicing at 2:45.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was, and it was. I didn't know what to expect going in. I didn't really know what to expect going into it, but it was, I had every single minute of my day planned until probably 8:00 every single day.
Which is probably what you're going to experience when you get to Ames.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But it was, I mean, it was super duper fun. I mean, I just loved everybody's on the same schedule. There was no like, I don't know. I don't want to say there was no distractions really. I mean, it was just you do this with these guys and you enjoy doing it while, I don't know. It was super fun. And, yeah, I mean, I just met a lot of guys that I don't know, still talk to today.
Yeah, you're all football guys.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
and we're going to see each other. I mean, we're all going to
Right.
see each other down the road sometime.
Sure.
It was just super cool to make those connections and friendships with those guys.
Yeah. So, I've known Aaron Graves since he was in the 4th grade,
Yeah.
I think, and he's always been known as Shaq. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you were on the same side of the ball
Yeah.
as he was.
Yeah.
I mean,
No, Aaron's a super cool guy.
yeah, he's really good. His parents are really cool too. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So let's back up a second. I've known you forever. I mean, known you since you were little. Your mom was is a teacher and taught my kids,
Yep.
In elementary school. And so your journey in Humboldt is basically you played every sport, every season you could.
Yep.
All the way through high school. I mean, there's
All the
not
way
many
through high
guys
school.
that do that anymore.
No.
I mean, you did football, then went to basketball, then went to track, then went to baseball, all 4
Yeah.
years, had success in all of it.
Mhm.
All state football player, first team all conference basketball player several years, played with my son, and had an unbelievable year this year. I mean, got to go to the Dome and played at Harlan in the semifinals of football, got to play Assumption, which we're not going to talk about in
we're not going
the
to.
state tournament in basketball. And so you played both ways for Humboldt, return punts, return kickoffs, was hardly ever off the field, team captain. So before this and the last podcast, Thomas and I were talking about, I've always been impressed with you as a leader, your work ethic and everything else that goes along with it. Your parents being small town people, it's not a surprise that you've got a good work ethic. So tell us a little bit about, what you're expecting going from being a 4-sport athlete, being the big fish, I guess you could say, to jumping into a walk-on role at Iowa State with, you're going to see some freak athletes, obviously, too.
Being the smallest fish there. You mean?
Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, so we're going to pull this out 4 years from now when you're all American, and we can hopefully, and we can talk about it again. But so, just what are you expecting when you get to Ames?
I mean, it's just so I'll use Brady Ross. It's called WOM, WM. It's an acronym. It's walk on mentality. And he used it throughout his career at Iowa. Yep. And obviously, as a lot of people probably know, Brady and Brady obviously was a great player. And that's just kind of what I'm going to bring with me to Iowa State, is just that walk on mentality that there's guys in there who, and I'm competitive and I don't like to admit it, but they have probably better, they're coming with a little better, I don't know, genes and just better, just more. I mean, there's dudes coming in there.
Oh, sure. Right. Yeah.
And the only way that I'm going to be able to do anything is if I outwork them. And that's what I have to do. And that's just kind of the mentality, the walk on mentality that Brady had. And that's the one that's why I'm going to have to bring it with me to Iowa State. And being able to, just having played 4 sports a year and having to do all that stuff and just constantly not really having a break and always having to, being that leader, throughout in all the sports that I had, it just kind of prepared me for that, because all I've known really my whole entire career is just, working hard, really.
Yeah.
And especially with, Coach Dillon does a great job, and amazing job, phenomenal job in our weight room. And that's what he demands, is hard work, period. And it's just completely made me ready for everything that I think I'm going to face. I would say, obviously, and it's going to be hard.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm not going to downplay that, but I think I'm completely prepared for everything that hopefully that gets thrown my way. And it's just, I've had to work hard my whole career to be where I'm at right now. I came in, I started my first sophomore game at 5'10", 155 pounds.
Didn't you play? But you played when you were a freshman. You played at Carroll, didn't you?
No, that was sophomore year.
Oh, I thought it was okay. That was your freshman.
No, I played freshman. Yeah,
it was kind of a rough game. If I remember right.
Rough game.
Yeah, so, but you were sophomore, right?
Mm-hmm.
You weighed what?
155 pounds.
Yeah, $155. So things have changed a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
things have changed. So
so if you haven't seen the highlight of Caden in one of our first series against Harlan this year, he broke a long run and trucked one of their D-backs, and crowd went crazy. So it was a fun time. But I'm sure it's going to be like everybody tells you. Brian Larson from Humboldt went down as a walk-on. Yep. We've talked to Trevor Ryan, we had on last year, small town kid, went down and played big time Big 12 football. It's just at a different speed and a different level level of competition, obviously different level of work ethic that you're probably going to have to pull in. But I think, when we had Bruce Reimers on in Seneca last year, we were talking about the difference between your generation and their generation is the nutrition and the weight training program is top of the line.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, have they told you, how much weight do they want you to put on? Or
they haven't told me anything about that yet, but just looking at, looking at the roster and stuff like that, I'm going to come on and I'm one of the weight wise, one of the heaviest guys coming in. I mean, I am 6 foot. So these guys that are 6'3", probably have a couple more pounds than me, but height to weight ratio, I'm probably one of the heaviest guys on there, except for Anthony Johnson. He's pretty beefy. I think he's 6 foot, 6'1", 205, something like that. Yeah. So, and I'm coming in, I've gained probably 15 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds since football season. So I'm 195 right now. So,
well, Mother Nature does that too. As you get a little older,
as
I'm proof that you fill out a little bit.
Yeah.
So you've been doing, Iowa State gave you a weight program, assuming they wanted you to kind of follow. And so who's been your contact from the weight side? Has it been Trevor, or has it been just they just send it to you and say, here, do this?
Well, so they gave me a weight program probably in, I want to say January, February, probably, for the rest of the school year. And then, that's when everybody was supposed to report for, summer training or whatever. But since I played baseball, I couldn't. And then, so I wanted to go down there after baseball was over, but I couldn't because of a liability issue. I wasn't enrolled in a class, wasn't with this university, whatever. Yeah. So I couldn't go down there. So the program stopped when they were supposed to report for summer training.
Okay.
So then after that, I was just with Trevor. But before that, I think I got it from my safeties coach, Coach Broomfield. He sent it down to me, and it was just like a little booklet. It's just a booklet thing with a bunch of them. I don't know, just every week and so there's different phases and stuff. And
so Deion Broomfield was the guy that was kind of one of your main recruiters too. I'm assuming, wasn't he?
Yeah. So my recruiting story is actually pretty crazy. So I had been recruiting. Iowa State really didn't talk to me very much until really right at the end, right when I committed. So I had been, my two main people that I've been talking to were Northwest Missouri State, and then you and I were the two main ones. And then so I went to a Northwest Missouri State the visit there or whatever, and they gave me an offer or whatever. I said, okay, I'll just keep holding out, because honestly, and I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna be a UNI Panther for a long time. And I thought I was gonna be following Ben. We were gonna go together or whatever. I go down there for a visit. I got this tour, and then things just didn't work out the way I thought it was. I was going to. Coach Derek Hoodger for Iowa State messaged me when I was at the UNI camp and said, hey, can I give you a call later tonight? I'm like, yeah, I'm at a visit right now, whatever. I get home, call Hoodger, and I met with Coach Tom Lanning. I met with him at school one day.
Tom Manning.
Tom Manning.
Yeah,
not Tom Lanning.
That's okay.
I met with him.
He'll forgive you.
Yeah. I met with him at school one day, and that was really the extent of. And I went on a game day visit to Iowa State one time, and that was really the extent of it up to that point. And Coach Hoodger called me and kind of talked to me a little bit, and then offered me a preferred walk on, and told me the next day to come down and just to walk on, all the kids that are planning on walking on are going to go down there for a big meeting or whatever and just see the ropes. So I went down there, loved it, absolutely loved it, and then on the way home called Hoodger and told him that I wanted to be a cyclist.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It was pretty it was a pretty quick it was just a fast little, it just happened. And then I'm like, okay, I can't miss out on this right now. So,
right. Yeah. Get a chance playing the Big 12 and, and you never know where that's going to lead. I mean, I don't think most of the guys that, like Jeff Hornacek played in the NBA for a long time with the Utah Jazz and was in a couple championships, started as a walk-on at Iowa State. So you never know, know where that's going to lead. So do you have you thought about what you're going to major in? Do you have that figured out yet?
Yeah, I'm going to major in ag business. I don't know what I want to do out of it. Honestly, I have no idea.
You're 18
no
years
idea.
Old, so
no idea. So
you could be a meteorology major by the end of the year too. You never know.
I go into teaching.
Yeah, I could.
But no, I'm just going to go into ag business and then just see where it takes me. I'm a pretty good, I would say I'm a pretty good numbers person. I'm better at math, the math side of that, like that. And then my dad's in the ag business program. He's a ag loan officer at a bank right now. So, I figured going to ag like that and just see where it takes me. Obviously being from Iowa too helps, but
sure. And your dad has been a high school assistant coach for how many years?
Oh man, it's been, so I'm 18. He's been there. Obviously, he's been coaching before I was born. I think it's been 20. I think it's close. It's gotta be 20.
I was gonna say 25, but I
think it's probably in between 20 and 25 right now. I don't know for sure. 22 maybe.
So you've been around the coaching side of it. You've seen the good and the bad side of the way coaches are handled and everything. But also seeing kind of the strategy side of it too. I mean, his dad Corey has been on the defensive side of the ball with us for a long time, and seeing coach us when we were in the semifinals with Tyler Nielsen, those guys, and then again last year. So kind of seen the ups and the downs. I mean, when you coach high school, you can't recruit.
No, you cannot recruit.
Supposedly. So you get the hand you're dealt. And some years you're in the dome, and some years you're not so much in the dome. So so what was in your football experiences in high school? Give me a couple moments that you thought was one of the funnest times you had in the game, or can be non-football. It can be a off the field thing, but what's one of the funnest experiences you remember playing high school football? Because you're talking, a lot of us did play high school football. Very few had the chance to put on a D1 uniform.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So after we beat Independence, that was Independence to go to the state semifinals this year was pretty awesome. I mean, just being with all the guys, and then having the students and stuff rush the field and stuff. It was just super cool. And being out there, and that was one of the thing I remember most from that game was we were sitting there talking and stuff. And then I don't know, my adrenaline must have worn off or something, but I stood there, and it was it had to have been 20 degrees.
Yeah, it was not warm.
15 degrees. And I stood there and I'm in a cutoff, hardcore mode,
right.
Whatever. And I'm standing, it's freezing out. It is so cold. And that's one of the biggest things I remember from that game. But I mean, it was just, and being in the locker room after that game was awesome. I mean, everybody was just, they were so happy. And I mean, it was just so much fun being with them. What's another one that was good?
So I know just from watching after games, you have a lot of little kids in the high school game that get to come up and want, this is a new thing for me. I mean, I hadn't experienced it till this year, where little kids are coming up wanting selfies with the high school team when they're successful. It's
pretty new this year.
The autograph thing has gone away. It's all selfies.
It's all selfies. Yeah. It's all pictures. Yeah. There's no actual,
And the one thing, there was one kid that would come up and get pictures taken with you guys with money in his hand.
Yeah. I mean, I know. And then the one kid came up and made us all wear glasses when he took pictures of these glasses he brought, these big glasses he made us all put on and stuff.
That's the kind of the fun part of because I remember we had Tyrus McGee on one time, and I asked him, actually it was when he came to camp here, and I asked Tyrus, he had this line of kids standing there wanting his autograph. I said, so Tyrus, before you came to Ames, how many people asked you for your autograph? And he said zero. And so he knows, that moment in your life when people want selfies or autographs is a pretty fleeting time. It doesn't last very long.
Yeah. It's, and this year I feel I guess I wasn't more than years than I've been past that I've been in high school. This year it's just the fans were really, it's feel like they were really connected with the team this year, more than it had been all of my other years in high school. Absolutely. And, I mean, we knew all these kids, and we all knew these kids by names and stuff. And so they'd run up to us and yell our names, and we say hi to them back, to use their names and stuff. And it was just super cool. I mean, I know a lot of these kids that are, and then obviously they make TikToks about us and stuff too.
Right.
So yeah, that's always fun. But I mean, it's just super cool. And then, I mean, all the parents get involved in stuff. Then you're getting high fives from people you don't even really know their names, but you're just, I mean,
they know you.
They know
that's the way it is. I'm sure Brees Hall got a lot of selfies taken with people that he had no idea.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. And then, so, I mean, it was just super cool to see all that. I mean, and it was I just felt like the whole community was really connected through football this year. And it obviously carried over through basketball and then throughout the rest of sports too. And it was super cool to see everybody come together. And especially at school, I mean, you could feel it. You can kind of feel it at school, honestly. I mean, every Friday, not even just Friday, all week, it was just so much it was just happy. I mean, everybody's just happy.
Winning does it too.
Yeah. They do. It does that too. Yeah. And it was just, I mean, everybody, obviously the weather, my favorite season is probably the weather in September and October is probably my favorite.
Me too.
It makes everybody happy and stuff. And everybody came to school, and it was just, I mean, it was so much fun. This football season was awesome. It was so much fun. Much fun.
Yeah. The thing about the fall in Iowa is that's when farmers get paid with their harvest typically. So everybody's
happy.
Everybody's usually, this year's been pretty dry. So hopefully the farmers, and I grew up on a farm, and I didn't get to go many Iowa State football games because we were always harvesting. So, I mean, anytime I see, they talk about our crowd being down a little bit, depending if it's nice weather in October, you got a lot of guys hitting it pretty hard in the field. So who have you met so far when you're in the Iowa State, family so far? Who have you gotten to
Um,
know or met, at least shaking hands with or
Yeah,
whatever? I mean,
I haven't really got to know. I haven't really been able to be around a lot of them. So my roommates. I have 3 roommates. We're staying in this kind of like apartment style thing. So I was lucky enough to be able to play with 3 of them in the Shrine Bowl.
oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Very
one of
good.
them was on my north side. Zach Anderson's name from Estherville.
Okay.
So he's one of my roommates, and then 2 guys were on the south side, Easton Elge from Underwood,
Okay.
and then Carson Brown from Dowling.
Okay.
Or not Carson Brown. Carson Brown from Dowling. Yeah.
Okay.
They were both. He's not my roommate, but he will be on. He's a walk on too. So
Okay.
I mean,
So how many walk-ins are there? How many do you know?
12.
Okay.
I think 12, and a lot of them are from. I think I don't know if I'm right or not. Either 8 or 9 of them are from Iowa. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, and the other ones. So I'm staying. One of my roommates is named Chet Andrews from Illinois, Chicago area, Illinois.
Okay.
Another kid's from Colorado, who's a safety with me. His name's Eddie Limos.
Okay.
Safety, like I am. And then I don't know where the other one's from. I can't remember, but yeah.
So you haven't even done a lifting routine in the facility
I
down
haven't
there
been
yet.
there at all. Yet.
Haven't even put on a cleat yet. And you
I
said
haven't been able to.
you can't do that because of the walk-on thing
Yeah,
until school starts.
Till school starts. I can't be with them until school starts, which is I was kind of bummed out at first. I'm like, well, I'm gonna fall behind, but I mean, I have 5 more years of off seasons with them.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna redshirt, most likely redshirt
Sure.
this first year anyway. So I mean, I'm just enjoying my last, I don't know, being here with my family and stuff for the last. I mean, this is really the last kid. I mean,
Right.
last kid summer I'll ever have, really.
Yeah.
So,
And the beauty of Ames in our location is it's an hour and 20 minutes
not very
back wherever. I mean,
No.
so it's pretty easy. And
yeah,
and there's Ryan Harklaw being connected here and all
Yeah.
of the Humboldt people that have Iowa State connections. There is not a lack of Humboldt people at Iowa State
there is
games.
not.
Typically.
Absolutely
So
not.
if you forgot something at home, more than likely somebody's be able to
Somebody's got it.
be able to run it down to you. So getting into the Big 12 and you followed, all of this realignment stuff.
Yeah.
Have you followed,
Yeah.
this whole Pac-12 thing?
Yeah.
What do you think about that? I mean,
I don't know.
I've been in the business world and I don't get it. So I can't imagine as an 18-year-old getting ready to go to a Big 12, how you can get your mind wrapped around it.
I don't know. I think, so obviously USC and UCLA joined the Big 10, like officially joined the Big 10. We'll see how that works.
Wasn't there something today that says something about ESPN and the
Big
being
10,
with the Big 10 anymore?
Big 10 is not going to be on ESPN anymore. They're going to be CBS, Fox, and whatever other one is.
Interesting.
NBC.
I haven't caught up today.
Yeah. So usually when you see, and I honestly, my favorite game usually, I don't know why, but I always liked the 3:30 games because they'd always show a 3:30 ES or SEC game on CBS.
Yeah, right.
Always.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Big 10 now, which I think I always liked watching it. So,
Yeah.
and obviously, I mean, I don't know. The Big 10 isn't, I don't know. I don't want to say it's not quite the SEC, but it's not really quite the SEC.
Well, SEC is their own animal.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It'll just be interesting to see because now SEC is exclusively ESPN now.
Yeah.
They're all ESPN. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's just all big money numbers game anyways. So whatever, I guess. I don't know. As long as they're on TV. I mean,
yeah. I mean, when Thomas and I've talked about it, that if they are trying to figure out a way to take this, the smaller, I guess you could say, Division I schools and minimize them, it can't help their brand.
No.
I mean, there's not as many NFL fans in Iowa as there is in Wisconsin.
No.
Or
obviously,
Minnesota, because we don't have it.
team.
I know Vikings fans, I know Bears fans, I know
Packers
fans. I mean, and it's because we just don't have a doubt. However, everybody's either 99% of the people in Iowa are probably either an Iowa State or an Iowa fan, and a couple of you and I, and you and I as well. So that's why I was hoping that it wouldn't. We're not going down the road where they're going to try to get it down to 32 teams or whatever.
No,
I mean,
I don't know.
But I don't know. Who knows? But,
I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be really interesting to see if they end up doing something with the Pac-12 just because of, I mean, I don't know if Oregon and Washington, I mean, Oregon especially, they don't want to come out. I mean, why would they want to come to the Pac-12 when they run it every single year?
Yeah.
I mean, so if you're gonna try to sign a deal with those guys to come over to Big 12 where they're not going to be the top. I mean, Oregon might compete, but I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, they're not going to, I mean, there's going to be tough to compete with Oklahoma and those guys.
We're talking about that if Oregon came to the Big 12 with Central Florida coming in, they have to drive their equipment. So they're going to take it from Oregon to Orlando in a semi. I mean,
they're going to leave like 3 days early.
Yeah. I mean,
that's not even realistic.
Insanity.
It's not even realistic, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean,
get a C-130 from the Army and fly it down. I mean, I don't know. So what heading into your first experience in the Big 12 and Iowa State, what are you looking forward to the most? Is there something that you're really, is it really going to be this way, or is there something you're wondering about that you probably just have to experience, or is there something you're excited about?
I'm really excited to go to travel. Super duper excited to travel. I haven't been, as far as I've been away, I guess we went to Florida, but I haven't been through all those states before. I mean, I haven't been to Texas. I haven't been to Oklahoma. I mean, I haven't been to West Virginia. It's going to be super duper cool. I'm super excited for that part, just the traveling part. And obviously it's not like we're going on vacation it's a game, obviously a game day, but it's going to be, I think that'll be super cool. Just being experience all that. And, just being, just being around, that travel and stuff. What else? I was kind of curious about how to see just how, I kind of want to see just what like the leadership looks like at a big college level like that. Because obviously I know what it is. At the high school level, but it's because I've known all the guys for my entire life.
Right.
So it'll just be interesting to see how it works when you haven't known those guys, especially when you have guys coming in. You have young guys coming in to play with you, and like how is they going to transition between those 5th year seniors and those, redshirt freshmen, that are going to be public play. It's just it'll be interesting to see how that all works, just all that leadership aspect and stuff. And I'm really excited to get to know all the coaches and stuff more, just to make a connection, make a relationship with all of them too.
Yeah, I've coached high school a lot like your dad. And even at the high school level, there's egos.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine when you're taking these guys that are all the best player on their high school team.
Yeah.
And then you're going to look at some of them and say, you're not going to play for 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So I think the managing of that and the leadership side of it, I think you got a good point. Trying to figure out how can a player be a leader of those guys too.
Especially when, I could get away. This year I could probably get away with like yelling at somebody on it. Like I could, just because I've known all of them, and obviously they don't take it personal. After we get off the field, it's not nothing's personal.
Yeah, right.
But how are you going to do that when you haven't known those guys for that long, and those guys have never been yelled at before? Those guys have been the ones yelling.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like how are they going to take that? And it's just, it's just a big, especially when you're, like you said, those guys have been the dudes at their high school for the last, 4 or 5 years.
Probably longer. Yeah. Around, since they're in elementary school.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just interesting to see. It takes a special, that's why it probably takes a really special person a really special player to be the leader of a team. And that's why, it's such a big deal when you are named captain, when you're named,
right.
When you're at that position of power, especially when your coaches nominate you there. Too. So
who was your, when you were growing up, who was the football players that you looked up to, or, had the poster on the wall or whatever?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I just
NFL, college, whoever.
I really liked Ricky Stanzi.
Oh,
I was an Iowa fan. I grew up with an Iowa fan.
Yeah, that's right.
I did.
That's okay. Yeah, that's all right.
And I really liked that. So Iowa had a 2010, I think, Orange Bowl team, and Ricky Stanzi. I really liked Ricky Stanzi. Marvin McNutt was on that team, receiver. Adrian Claiborne played DN for them. That I really looked up to those guys. I loved. It's one of the best season highlight films I've ever seen on YouTube.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In my opinion.
What about the NFL?
I don't know. I've been a Vikings fan my whole life, which is a curse, but it's my dad. I blame my dad for that. But
your dad's a Vikings fan?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's been a Vikings.
When you live 10 miles from the Minnesota border, you probably
literally 10 miles from the Minnesota border. Yeah. Yep. So I don't know. The Vikings haven't really been. I really liked Percy Harvin. Obviously Adrian Peterson, but I like Percy Harvin. He was super cool guy. Harrison Smith. He's been there forever, for the last 100 years or whatever. So Harrison Smith is.
Have you been to the new Viking Stadium?
I have. Yeah, once. Super cool.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah, it's insane. It's just yeah.
Yeah. So did your mom tell you about the conversation we had at a basketball tournament with your little brother?
I don't think so.
So we were getting this conversation with other parents about back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, for that matter. Every high school team, if they were the Wildcats, they were the female was the Wildcatettes.
Really?
Like Charles said, it was the Comets. They were the Comets. And I said, when I was growing up, we were the Panthers and we were the Pantherettes. And your mom said we were the Bison and we had the Bisonettes. And I told her, I said, well, at least they didn't call you the real term for what they call a female bison.
What is it?
And it's a cow.
Oh, really?
And so our announcer from our high school team was sitting there, goes, yeah, can you imagine someone go, here come the cows? And so we all got a pretty good laugh at that, because the bison is one of best high school mascot names.
It's cool.
So you got to give your roommate a little hard time about being the midgets too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And he's not very big either.
Oh,
I mean, he's
easy. We got to be politically correct on that. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that Sheldon Orabs and the Esterville midgets are two of the most unique high schools. Yeah. And the orange and black, Sheldon is just orange and black. They couldn't come up with a term. So what other sport? I mean, so if you take football out of your life, what is your second favorite sport?
Probably I'll miss baseball.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed baseball. And I mean, playing baseball, I enjoyed it, but just the whole other side of being with them. I mean, I was with those guys. I mean, football is a commitment, but baseball is insane.
Oh, yeah. Time wise. Yeah.
I mean, you were with those guys every single day 7 hours every single day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, and
we're talking high school baseball.
This is high school baseball.
I mean, so we're talking, you go to BP at 2 sometimes.
Yeah.
And
depending on where you play or when you play. I mean, there's times I had to report to BP at 1 and you don't get home till,
11.
Later. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you're with those guys for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
And obviously everybody kind of gets sick of each other occasionally, but
sure.
It's just, the connections you make, I got really close to the football team, obviously, and stuff just because I've been playing with them, but you get closer to your baseball team in that summer than anything else. Yeah. I mean, you know those guys pretty much by heart. Yeah. By the time you're done with it.
Yeah. So baseball is a commitment. So did you have a favorite baseball player when you're growing up?
I never really folled baseball. Honestly,
favorite team? Were you the Twins fan or no?
My dad was a Twins fan, I guess.
Of course.
I've been to Twins game, a couple of Twins games here and there. I used to like the Cardinals when they were good, so I was a bandwagon.
You're not old enough to be a Mark McGuire and those guys. For all of you out there that are shaking your head right now, yeah, he is 18 years old. So he doesn't remember Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa's run. That didn't help me feel any younger. So you're probably Pujols then?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Albert and I don't know who else. I just remember watching there's a Cardinals game going on. We went on vacation when I was really little to St. Louis. We went up in the St. Louis Arch, and I just remember there was a Cardinals game playing.
Okay.
Or they were playing a Cardinals game in the one while we were up there. And I thought it was super cool. So I was a Cardinals fan after that for however long.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm glad we got a chance to do this. I mean, I know this is your first go around, and I know when you get to Ames, you're not allowed to talk to the media your freshman year anyway. So I mean, that's why I wanted to try to and I had another connection. We were trying to get Jameson Patton on too, but I think it's too late for him now. So, so I appreciate coming on. I told Thomas when we were describing you in our last podcast, you've always been a leader. You've always tried to do things the right way. And Thomas's response was, so he's basically the kind of people that Matt Campbell recruits. And that's exactly right. True. So we all here are cheering for you. We hope you have a good experience in Ames, and we're just glad you've got the right colors on now. And next time you come on, we might, and then you're too young to talk about Seneca Wallace, Stephen. So I mean, we might have to brush up on the Iowa State football history.
And I'll have to go back in the history books.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for coming, Caden. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.